Hello and welcome on 360 Sport on Trust TV. I'm Adini Aji Shafe. It's time to take you around the world of sport activities out there in the US, favoring Nigerians really that are actually competing in the world of athletics. We'll start with the first story, and that has to do with athletics. Nigerian star. She's a sprint star anyway. She's really doing well. And right now, sprinter Chukwuma raced to season best of 11.01 seconds to qualify for women's 100-meter NCAA TFC final. That's National Collegiate of Athletics Association Track and Field Championship. As NCAA TFC there. Right now, she will be at least racing in the final on Saturday. But right now, the Nigeria International has done well competing and winning our own semi-final race, 11.01 seconds, season best for Rosemary Chukwuma. 2018, she did well for Nigeria when it comes to competition of athletics. And right now, she's still one of the best when it comes to Africa in 100-meter race. You can't take anything away from Rosemary Chukwuma for what she has done so far. And right now, we look at that story alongside Emmanuel Fashemi. Look at this lady, doing well.
She's actually doing well, Rosemary Chukwuma. I think she repeated the same feat last year. She was at the final, though she didn't win it. But this time around, she also repeated the same feat by qualifying her own semi-final as the first person. The only person who beat her this season is Julian Alfred in the semi-final, which she ran 10.999 seconds. And Rosemary Chukwuma also winning her own heat in the semi-final, winning 11.01 seconds. And it's a good thing that Rosemary Chukwuma is actually doing well. If you look at the whole of our athletes this year, they have actually been doing well in all of their field event, both track and field event, the likes of Favor Philly and the rest of them. Also, the beautiful thing about this time around in the NCCA is that we have 3 Nigerians who will be competing in that final. Rosemary Chukwuma, Favor Philly, and this other lady Nkocha will also be in the 100-meter final. So it's a good one, and it's just good that all our athletes are in form of their life. These are some of the preparatory races that will prepare them for Budapest, the World Championship that will coming up pretty later in the year. So it's good, and congratulations to her and every other Nigerian athletes in the United States of America.
Well, right now, for the fact that you mentioned Chukwuma, Philly, and also Nkocha, for men too, we have Woodiwe also doing well. I saw the race where he actually participated, and the javelin man who also did well in javelin.
Yeah, in the javelin man, that's the winning. He won bronze, and it's good that we're having all these athletes. Already Enekwechi in the shot put event has already qualified for the World Championship, the same from the championship that went down 2 weeks back right now. So all Nigerian athletes, I believe, this time around, I think we are on track. We're on track to at least reap the dividend. The only thing that we just need the support for these athletes. You know, some of them has to use their personal earnings, some individuals, whatever they get from some of these championship, that is what they use in sponsoring themselves. We want sponsors. It should not be left for the AFL, the government alone. We should also have individuals like what the Adgon minister did, adopt an athlete. I think that went a long way to actually help some of our athletes. I think if that program can be sustained, and then probably other persons should come in and see how we can actually strive well in our sports.
Well, good one for Chukwuma Rosemary there, racing 11.01 seconds to qualify for the women's 100 meters final. Let's look at what she'll be doing at the final of the National Collegiate of Athletics Association there. Hopefully, she can actually come first in that race. Nigerians are doing when it comes to athletics. Not forgetting recently Tobiloba Musho also racing to win a race there over there in that competition. Congrats to all Nigerians that are into sport. It's not easy, but we always want to project them on the show. Away from the athletics story now, let's quickly talk about the NWFL. Well, the Super 6 is still ongoing, and right now as we speak, the match between Rivers Angels and Bayelsa Queens right now is on, and the two teams are locking horns there. Battle of the South-South teams, and also by 4 p.m. Edo Queens will be locking on against that's Delta Queen. It's a battle of South-South for today.
Yeah, it's a big one, the two of the NWFL, because it is the Super 6. We want to see who is going to be the crown champions of this year's NWFL season. Last season it was Bayelsa Queens, and they've been talking tough that they want to retain their trophy. But let's see how it pans out at the end of the day. After match day one, where we had some mixed results, where Edo Queens, almighty Edo Queens, lost 1-0 to Conference Queens of Kogi State, and now we have Rivers Angels winning their first game by Bayelsa Queens and Delta Queens. So it's good. The battle of the South, so Rivers Angels and Bayelsa Queens, former champion and currently defending champion. So it's a cracker, and then for Edo Queens, they want to pick their first win of the Super 6, and it's just looking good for the women's football. I think this time around it's better, it's well organized than what we saw last season.
Yeah, well, even though it's at least much more better than last season, I'm talking about the prize money now is a bit small compared to what the men will be getting. 10 million naira for the winner. I think it's high time something must be done to increase on this. You look at the gap. I'm not saying, well, they should receive the same thing as it is, but 100 million for the winner of the MPFL, 10 million for the winner of NWFL.
That is 90 million difference. I think it's something that the NFF had to look into, because we've seen FIFA actually taking that step to actually bring up the women's money, at least to be on the same, if not on the same level, at least close to what we have. And we've seen the far cry when it comes to discrepancies in prize money for women and men. And I think the women has been coming out to speak against this vocal, and even some men supporting them. We saw that in the tennis. At some point, Serena Williams had to mention that at least they should bring the women's tennis also to the same level as that of the men. And we've seen that in football. FIFA has taken that step. I think every other federation in the world should actually look inward and then probably clear this issue. The women also, if you look at it, I think women has been doing well in all of the sports they are participating in. So good one. If the NFF can actually see how they can measure up this, at least improve, let there be an improvement in the prize money. But
because really, if you see some countries right now, they are like US right now trying to pay their teams equally. Even though we are not advocating for that equality, but the fact that that gap, 90 extra million, you look at the runners-up, they will get 5, and then the toppers get 3 million, makes it 18 to the total amount, 18 million.
To compare to 100 million.
It's not even to 150.
It's not even up to 150. At least we should have maybe 50 million at most, or 70 million.
Let's even say 50.
50 million.
50, half of it.
Half of that money, 50 million for the winner, 30 million for the first runner up, and then 20 million,
maybe 15
million thereabout. At least it will be better. But 10 million, 5 million, no, it's not. I think NFF needs to actually go back and then improve on this prize money, because these girls are actually, they run for 90 minutes. The men also run for 90 minutes.
It's not as if men's
so what's
90
the
minutes?
Difference? They play on the same size of pitch. It's not that maybe the women's pitch is being
smaller.
It's smaller or different. The same, that's Stephen Keshi Stadium that these women are playing. The Super Eagles have played there. Men are also playing their football. So I think the NFF is just too poor.
Because really, the same 90 minutes, the same space and everything. But really, something must be done concerning that. Right now, NWFL Super 6, we just look at the games that will be coming up today. Rivers will be facing Bayelsa. As we speak right now, that match is on. And also, Edo Queens versus Delta Queens, a battle of the Titans between the two Queens by 4 p.m. also coming up. From there, quickly, let's talk about the men. The men will also be fighting for honors today. Over there in Lagos, Mobolaji Johnson Arena, the one they call MJA in Lagos at Onikon. They'll be fighting to see who stays on and who wins this battle. Well, Rivers United will be facing Bende Insurance by 2 p.m. Lobby Remo Stars, the two stars will be facing themselves. Which star will actually dim? We wait to see. Sunshine Stars versus Eyimba International. Big one there. 6 p.m. will be the one for that particular match. But right now, so far in this competition, it has been draw. It's as if they have a meeting of drawing themselves.
I think they love to eat, according in Nigerian parlance, draw soup. But if you look at it, they've played 9 matches so far, and out of 9 matches, we'll just have only 2 wins, and the rest has ended on 7 draws. And the last draw coming on match day 3, where you have all the teams playing out draw, and the last game ended on a very in a goalless draw. With the other two games will have a draw, as a score draw. But as it stands, Rivers United and Enyimba, the only two teams that have gotten a win. They are on the same point with the same number of goal difference, and then Remo Stars, Bendel Insurance, and Sunshine Stars sharing also on the same number of points. But the good thing about it is that, like I said on this show, that those who really won the trophy has already shown that pace. But from match day 3, he decided the table a bit, and today is going to be the last straw. Because if you lose today's game, any team that loses today's game is going to actually affect their standing on the table. Bendel Insurance, Rivers United, they won the win, and these are the two teams that top their respective table when in the normal average season. But in today's game, Bendel Insurance, if they win, they will be on. They have 3 points. They'll be on. If they win, they will be on 8 points, 6 points there, but they'll be on 6 points, topping whatever happened between Rivers United and Enyimba. Is going to be pretty. It's going to be pretty dicey. But if you look at it, whatever happens, there's going to be a change on that table.
But really, like I remember the last time you were talking about maybe that was Enyimba versus Bendel Insurance, you understand? But you saw what happened that day. Football is just so dicey. But right now, Bendel Insurance and Rivers United seems to be having, the same point, 5 points. And you have Remo Stars and Bendel Insurance. Rivers United, Enyimba, the same point, 5 points. Bendel Insurance, Remo Stars, 3 points. And Lobby and Sunshine having 2 points. Right now, it's a very dicey Super 6. Right, very, very dicey one.
It's a dicey one. I've always said is that it's going to be between Rivers United and Enyimba. And I will not be surprised if Bendel Insurance also gets a draw today, because though they are unbeaten, but this time around they don't need the draws.
The unbeaten is becoming
something else. They need to win. They need to win so that they can challenge Rivers United and Enyimba. And if they play today's draw, if they play draw against Rivers United today, then they should forget about the Super 6.
Well, right now, looking at Bendel Insurance facing Rivers United, the battle of South there. Lobby, North Central versus Remo Stars from Southwest. You have Sunshine Stars of those stay there, correct, precisely. Southwest versus Southeast, Enyimba FC. Well, those matches coming up today. Well, we continue to give you updates concerning the Super 6 for women and also for the men. Away from there, let's go to the second-tier league of Nigerian Football League. Let's talk about the NNL. NNL right now announced final dates to end regular season. Well, those matches will be coming up this weekend and also on Wednesday next week. But right now, for Saturday and Wednesday, those matches will be played simultaneously to avoid match fixing. I love the fact that they want to quickly do this because to avoid the story that touch. So, NNL announced this particular day. Let's look at the modules. Yes, the modules and promotion. That's relegation and promotion modules of the NNL. There are 12 teams to be relegated. 4 teams shall join the NNL from the MPFL. All 8 bottom teams from the 8 groups will be automatically relegated to the Nationwide League 1. Teams second from bottom will enter a relegation playoff. The first 4 will survive while the bottom 4 will be relegated. The top 8 teams from the 8 groups shall qualify for the Super 8, and the top 4 from the Super 8 will be promoted to the MPFL.
Good one. I think they are trying to measure, because we actually had some shake-up because of the World Cup and coronavirus that actually affected some of the leagues in the whole world, not just Nigeria alone. And for NNL, like you said, so that there will not be match fixing, is good that all matches will be played simultaneously, so that what is happening in this center will be happening in another center. And I think they will have their administrators, NNL officials all around the matches, so that they can watch whatever that will happen with the officiating, or maybe one team is trying to play some kind of some foul play. But good one that we are going to have teams that will be coming up into the NPFL. But what I really want to say about the NNL is, I think they lack this better organization. The league is not well organized.
Even compared to
if you look at what is happening in the NPFL, I think Davidson Owumi has actually tried. Though we have some lapses, but to an extent, he has been able to bring the league up a bit. And the average format now makes the league competitive. And we want to see that with NNL, with a better organization, well organized. We shouldn't, there are too much of lapses. Sincerely speaking, too much of lapses. Even the NLO now is trying to organize their own league in a way that we saw what happened with where they went to acquire some of this technical equipment that will help their league to showcase it, and we saw what they were trying to do. So I think NNL should also do same, because a lot is going on with the NNL. NNL cannot, because that is where we produce teams that come to the NPFL. If it is not well organized, then we will not have good teams playing in the top tier league of Nigeria. That is the from next season, like you said, NPL is going to be Nigerian Premier League. So we are going to be having teams that will not be up to standard playing in the Premier League.
So right now, NNL will be having their final matches coming up on Saturday for this weekend, and also on Wednesday, just to wrap up the league in the regular season. Good one there, just to at least outline the NNL promotion and relegation modules coming from the Secretariat of the Nigerian National League. Well, right now, let's go international and talk about tennis. For those who love tennis, it's really getting more interesting right now, because at the French Open, Roland Garros, as they call it, Novak Djokovic takes on Carlos Alcaraz in Paris semi-final. What a match, what a game that will be coming up there between this Spaniard. Will he be able to do it? It seems this Alcaraz is taking over as Rafael Nadal.
Okay, let me openly say that I think Djokovic, I've always, though this is not the first time I will be saying it, he's a man that is obsessed with titles. He just wants to win, he wants to get it at all costs, and that is why he's pulling the weight, and he wants to set his own record. He doesn't want to be in the shadow of Rafael Nadal anymore, the shadow of Roger Federer. Now he has surpassed Roger Federer one, and he's not chasing that of Nadal.
He's actually on par with
Nadal,
22 Grand Slams. So if he's able to win this, it will be on 23.
On 23. So if you look at it, and he's going to have this young man, Alcaraz, a 20-year-old man. And when he was 19, he won the U.S. Open at the age of 19, becoming one of the youngest players to win the U.S. Open. And now Alcaraz has actually shown that yes, he also wants to hold his own. Rafael Nadal is leaving the scene. Roger Federer gone. So he wants to set that pace. A man who would have been, who we thought would have also been able to pull weight the way Djokovic, Alcaraz is doing right now is Tsitsipas, and this young man, this Australian man, Kyrgios, because of temperamental issues, he's not, as in, he's not there. I think he needs to check that if he really wants to dominate the world of tennis. He's a good player, but for this game, Alcaraz has beaten Djokovic once, their first meeting. That was in the Madrid Open. I'm seeing Alcaraz repeating that same feat, but for a Djokovic who wants to win title, I think it's an uphill task for Alcaraz.
A big one there between Novak Djokovic, the Serb, who will be facing young Carlos Alcaraz. That match will be coming up, that game rather will be coming up today, and it's going to be a big one, because we know that Alcaraz is very young, energetic, and really boisterous when it comes to playing tennis. And the experience of Novak will actually speak for him. He's also pursuing winning the 23rd Grand Slam after winning 22 alongside Rafael Nadal. But right now, at the Roland Garros, where there is no Nadal, the king of clay, well, who knows? Maybe a new king will actually be crowned this season concerning the Roland Garros there. Well, if you look at the competition between Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, and also Novak Djokovic, even though Federer has actually dropped out because of injury and he had to quit there. But if I should take you back to the 80s when Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi were really the dominant forces when it comes to tennis, the same thing transferred to Federer, Nadal, Novak. And we're thinking maybe Andy Murray will have be the fourth person, but he didn't work out due to injury. But right now, the new set of Tsitsipas, Zverev, Alcaraz and Medvedev, those four players, their own competition won't be from here, like we say in Nigeria.
Yes, their own competition will be from here. Also, let's not forget Dominic Thiem is also in that category. And now the competition, like you mentioned, these four guys are actually pulling their weight. I will not be surprised that in the next, maybe by next year or 2 years from now, if Djokovic is no longer in the scene. Because there was
these young guys actually
because if you see his Alcaraz semi-final game, somebody described him as in this where he, this guy had to up his game, and in the second set he said he came out like an animal. If you watch that game, it's as if it was not Alcaraz that started the game. So I don't know the energy that Alcaraz has in him. Seriously, the way he plays, the power behind, the way he hits his shot, and he doesn't place these balls where you can get it. What he does, I think he plays like Roger Federer when he was very young, when Roger was still
he's trying to pick,
he picks you, he makes you run around the court. He will be dropping the balls where he will stretch you and stretch you out, and once he stretches you out, you are tired. He has that energy to take you on for 2 good hours. Let's play. That is what he does. And when that tiredness is setting in, he starts hitting you some kind of shot that you can't even pick it.
Fantastic, Carlos Alcaraz there. We talk about the women too, although the women also, we have the finalists now. Muchova, surprisingly, she wasn't too rated ahead of this. Talking about, well, that's Coco Gauff there. Coco Gauff was actually defeated by Iga Swiatek, the Polish player who will be playing in the final of the competition. Well, Muchova will be facing Iga Swiatek now, and that will be a big one because Muchova defeated Sabalenka. No one saw that coming, and now she'll be facing highly rated Iga.
World number one.
Yes.
Highly rated Iga Swiatek, world number one, and for a player that is even ranked outside the first 100, making it to the final. And Muchova, she actually defeated this other lady, defeated Beatriz Haddad. That she will be Iga Swiatek beat Beatriz Haddad of Brazil, and this. If you look at Muchova, she's just she's a young lady who's trying to actually also break into the world of tennis. We saw how Sharapova came in 2004, and she was able to dominate for a while before injuries and mental whatever set in family issue, and now Sharapova is not in the scene right now. And for Coco Gauff, I felt pity for her because this is a lady that has been likened to be like Serena Williams, but she has not been able to actually put on the laces, the shoes of Serena Williams, because...
But I think she's getting closer. She's really edging closer.
No, she's edging closer. It's little by little she's going to break into the scene. But for a Muchova, I will not be surprised if she beat Iga Swiatek.
Let's see what happened in that particular final between Swiatek and Muchova. A big one between the two tennis players over there, Roland Garros, the clay court, where the best of the best are playing tennis right now. Before we go, let's give you one transfer story where Arsenal right now are really upping their game to see how they can get the signature of Declan Rice of West Ham in a £92 million pursuit.
£92 million, where does he worth it? Though we know the issue with English players. They will go to the press and hype their players. At the end of the day, they become a mess. But for Declan Rice, if I'm Arsenal, if I want to pay for him, he was 60. He was 60 but 90 is too
Can Arsenal cover 92 million? Looking at their style of buying players,
they have the money. If they can cover,
it's not about having the money, spending the money.
They can spend it.
They
bought this man from Cote d'Ivoire that later became a flop. What's his name?
Nicolas Pepe.
Nicolas Pepe, 72 million pounds they paid for him. So they can add 20 and pay for this man.
Let's just see. Maybe the Akagom in Arsenal will come out this time around and definitely spend the money. Let's see what they can do concerning that. Just at least adding some band in the studio concerning Arsenal going for Declan Rice, who just won the Europa Conference League with the Hammers. They want to get him still in the city of London, not to move away. He will still retain in the city of London, but this time around, Arsenal will be the place for him. We've been giving you update in the world of sport. When it comes to sport, always join us to watch 360 Sport. Well, Emmanuel Fashimi, thanks so much.
It's been my pleasure being with you.
I'm Adeniyi Ajishafe. Thanks for watching.